In this demonstration, I want to address a common mistake that is made with the projection when making use of a floor plan to draw the distances on an elevation. So here in SketchUp, I have a basic floor plan, and I want to now use the projections from this floor plan to determine the sectional front view. So as you know, the floor plan is seen as the top view, and we want to make a sectional front view. So we are going to make our section right here through the middle of this projection here. We're going to just use that as a projection or a sectional plane, and then we are going to draw the front view, which is our sectional elevation projecting out of this floor plan. So what's the first thing to do? Now, a common mistake is where people take the wrong side of the external wall. So sometimes when they look at the question, and here is an example of a question, and what you have here is a schematic floor plan. So it's just the outlines of a floor plan, and the symbols that are used here is not the sand symbol, so obviously they are not allowed to be drawn like this on your drawing. So you must use the sans symbols when you're drawing the toilet, the wash basin and the shower. The same with the zinc. So this is just a schematic outline, and then it also has the schematic layout for the sectional elevation that needs to be done. Now, using this as a reference, let's see at what happens now in your question and how that schematic confuses people to use the external wall incorrectly when they measure and project to the schematic elevation. Now, this is an easy problem to solve. So if you look at your floor plan, all that you need to do is just on your question, take your ruler, and then from the outline of your drawing, just draw a light construction line that is projected all the way up to your sectional elevation. So let me just get it perfectly in line. So there you go. You've taken that corner of the outline on your schematic and projected it straight up. Look at where it lines up. So that is the outside line, in other words, the external line of your external wall. The inside of your external wall has not been given on the schematic. Here by the toilet, we now see that there is an internal wall drawn in, and that will be half the thickness of the external wall. So, but that is just to show you that here the outlines on your floor plan on this line that you see is the outside line of your external wall and not the inside. So that lines up here with the sectional elevations schematic drawing. So please make sure that you always keep that in mind, that it is the outside line that is given. So you can also do the same with the schematics outline here and just project it all the way down, and you will see that it will line up perfectly with this external wall's outside line. And that is a simple way that you can determine the layout of your schematic, and that you know which way you have to do your calculations and your construction. In other words, you are going to have to do the construction now inward from the outside to the inside for that wall. Okay, so in SketchUp, if we do that, we want to make sure that we also go and we project, and this is what you will do on your paper drawing as well. So you will project the outside line of your external wall on both sides. That's what you will project upwards so that you can go and draw in your sectional elevation. So once you've done that projection, you are not going to go too far away from your floor plan, because you still need to fit in your sectional elevation before you hit the border of your page. So that's why you are not going to start too far away. So you have to plan and measure carefully before you attempt this. So my advice would be start from the border, leave about a 10mm gap, and then start with the maximum height and work your way down and just mark it off so that you just have the distance from the tip of your roof to the base of your foundation. Now if you're in grade 10, you're only going to do the sectional elevation, so you don't have to measure up to the roof. But if you're in grade 11, you're going to have to measure up to the ceiling height, and then a little bit of the wall above the ceiling. And if you're in grade 12, you will obviously have to measure all the way up to the tip of the roof, or the roof cap, or the ridging of the roof, whichever you prefer to call it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pretend for this demonstration purpose that our foundation's lowest end is going to be about there. Now obviously you can still draw in the roof overhang here on the floor plan itself as a hidden detail line, but I'm not going to draw that in now. So I'm going to just now start with the foundation. Now remember, this projection line that goes up here is for the external wall. So that is not the start of your foundation. Your foundation you still need to work out, and its default is 600 by 200. Now that we know where the base of our foundation is going to be and the outside line of our external wall, we want to draw the inside line of our external wall. So we're going to just project that up from our floor plan upwards. And now we want to know the center, the middle of the wall's thickness. So that we are going to just go and determine on the inside. I know that's going to be 121 on in this example, so let me just type that in. So that's the middle, and now we know that the default size of our foundation is going to be 600 by 200, and because we know that our question if it says 600 by 200, we know that's the default, but please always double check if they have not overwritten the default and that they have maybe perhaps made the foundation a different size. So you always stick with the size that's given on your exam paper. So with that measurements measured out there, we want to go now from that middle construction line. I want to go 300 millimeters to the left, because we're going to assume that this is the default size of an external wall foundation for a single story building, and that means it's 600 in total. We also know that the thickness of that is going to be 200 with our standards, and then we can just go and draw in the outlines of our foundation, and then we will do the hatching on it. Once we've done that, we're going to do our projection straight up from there to show the external line. We also will need read to our question to know what is the distance from the top of the foundation to the bottom of our hardcore, whatever distance that might be. Let's just say it's 400, and that you will get from your question paper, and then you will also know how high is that hardcore, and let's just make it about 120 millimeters, and let's say the concrete surface bed is going to be 120 as well. Now what we need to do is we need to draw in the inside of the external wall up to the base of our concrete surface bed. And we also need to draw in the bottom of our hardcore. That's going to go out all the way to the right. I'm just drawing a part of it now, and then the bottom of our concrete surface bed. We're going to draw it around about there. And we know it goes one brick layer into the wall, and we're also just going to draw up to there. Obviously, you will draw now the rest of it to the right. I'm just drawing this part to show you what to do here with your projections. Once you've done that above your concrete surface bed, you're going to go and draw in your wall and continue with the window and the doors and whatever you might need on your wall on this side. So now with that done, we also know that your natural ground level, the NGL, is going to go here, which is always in line with the bottom of your hardcore, and you will then have the 45-degree ziggy-zaggy lines of your hardcore hatching here, going 45-degree up and down all the way through. Obviously you only have to do about a third of that hatching going to the right of your hardcore, and then you will also hatch your concrete surface bed with the appropriate hatching. You will hatch the earth filling here all around your foundation and the outside of your wall and the inside of the wall underneath your floor. So you will make sure that that is also the correct earth hatching, and you will also have the little triangles and dots here for the hatching of your foundation itself. And then you will also add the label for NGL here above the NGL line. You will have your FFL for finished floor level on the top of your concrete surface bed. Just make sure if there is a screed that is required. So if we say that you have a screed that you need to draw in, let's say it was 20 millimeters or whatever, depending on the scale that you use. So you obviously won't see that if it is a 1:50 scale, but let's just pretend we asked you to draw that in and you can then see the screed. So then you would have had that 20 millimeter screed or whatever measurements was given to you in your question. So then obviously you would have continued with if there was a door, you would have drawn the door here, obviously at the starting from the FFL. If there was a window, you would draw the window there, and so on. Good, but that is just a very quick demonstration of how to do these projections when you are starting off with your elevation, your sectional elevation on your civil drawing, when you are projecting from your floor plan. So the whole idea is that you make sure that you don't start your foundation on the wrong projection. So these projections that come from the floor plan, look closely on these constructions here. You can see that this external line on the external wall represents this line on the far left, and then the inside of that external wall's line is projected up here. You don't start your foundation on that corner. The foundation is still dug out more to the left and to the right, and obviously at the appropriate depth. Good, so that concludes this quick demonstration of how to do the projection from a floor plan to determine the start of your sectional elevation.